So today, well, after we've had our routine wee that we must have before we ride, we are trying a bitless bridle. What could possibly go wrong? My mantra, what could possibly go wrong? I borrowed this one from my friend Emily. It is an endurance bridle apparently, and it can have a bit, but we are not doing that. Come on you, let's go ride. So I just thought it'd be really interesting to see how she goes in a bitless bridle, because she's not a horse who likes a bit. She's not a horse who likes me, if I'm honest, but we try. But she's really mouth sensitive, and actually she's quite unusual. If her mouth is uncomfortable, she tells me through the medium of bucking, and gets quite feisty with her back end if her mouth's uncomfortable. Now she is pretty happy. She's in a miler comfort roller, and generally we're happy like that, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see if I can actually school in a bitless bridle, and it's going to really highlight just how much I'm using my hands and not riding through my feet and my legs. So the following footage is probably going to be of me being an utterly terrible rider, but we're going to give it a go anyway, because we're just here for the fun, aren't we, Cass? Come on then, let's go. So we're kickstarting, getting organised. I'll try and dress myself before we do anything else. Stop my bra falling down, adjust, and off we go. So within about 30 seconds I realised that the cheek pieces were way too loose and looking quite baggy, therefore doing absolutely nothing. So just tightening everything up here to make it a slightly more efficient bitless bridle. Next challenge, can I get back on my horse without the mounting block? Let's see. Stretch! 1, 2, 3. Yes, it's total success. So the next thing I wanted to test was, how's my steering? So I tried our little slalom system. The idea being I move our quarters and move our shoulders. There was no outside rein to block movement, so we sort of epically smashed them around. Straight into a bit of leg yielding to try and engage our hind quarters. Again, that much harder without having a contact in her mouth. But we were reasonably successful at this. We were moving. Nothing encouraging her though to go into the contact. So here I'm trying one of the exercises that we do with our normal bridle, where I'm just pushing her forward, really pushing forward on both reins to try and encourage her to stretch and take the rein down. She's not as responsive to this as she normally is. Then I thought I'd try and get her to yield by getting some good bends to the left and the right. Again, asking her to bend was much harder without a bit, but you can see here she's understanding this exercise a bit more and giving a little bit better. She was better on the left rein than the right, although she's getting the drift. This was probably the nicest work we did without a bit. Next I try to gather her up a little bit here and ask her for a contact, but what started to happen was she was head shaking. She wasn't enjoying the pressure on her nose. It's not overly clear in the video, but I can feel a lot of tension and resistance through her head and neck, and every so often you'll see her tossing her head, which is something she does when I ride her in a bit that she doesn't like. So she definitely seems to be not just mouth sensitive but head sensitive. Lots of head shaking, lots of shaking. Not terribly happy at this point. So interestingly, with the bitless bridle on, she straight away recognises she can take the mickey a little bit more. So as we were hacking away from home, there are a couple of spots where she'll sometimes try to nap, and to get around that I usually just have a little conversation with her through my hands and then just engage the hindquarters and sort of bring her onto a contact and say, no, come on, we're working, and then that refocuses her and we ride past whatever it is, whatever imaginary leaf, crisp packet, cat is troubling us. That was so much harder without a bit, because my steering wasn't quite as accurate. She sort of knew, oh, something's clanging around up there, she's going a bit tense. I can afford to have her on my phone walking back up, because the likelihood is she's just going to keep heading for home. But as we ride away from home, she definitely was trying to test me a bit more. But again, I suppose that forces me to really use my seat and my leg. But it makes you realise how much we just use a combination of absolutely everything to manage difficulties. I'm really open to the idea of bitless bridles, and this is literally just one, and there are so many. But I've realised that Cassie's not necessarily averse to different bits. She's got a sensitive head, not a sensitive mouth, and I don't think she enjoyed the pressure on her nose with this. In my schooling session there was head shaking. I could have it fitted wrong, there is that as well. So I'm open to learn more, but at the moment I definitely lean towards the traditional bridled approach. She's in an ergonomic Micklem jobby, and that has seemed to work pretty well for us so far. But it's been fun to try this one, and I'm definitely interested to try some others.